Welcome back, baseball fans, to the 70-73 Carryover League. Again, tonight we have a card analysis for the 1972 box. We had gotten through the American League in the last couple of videos. We're going to start in the National League tonight, in the National League East, and take a look at their 1972 players. So let's go to the National League East, and we'll start with the Atlanta Braves and see what's going on in their keepers of 1972 and their rookies. Okay, this is a pretty good Rico Cardi card, but we know we're going to take Cardi's 1970 card where it's 366. Phil Niekro? Yes, this could be the one we take. He doesn't have 4 great years in this timeline. He's got at least one good one, and this is probably the one. Yeah, the 3.06 ERA and a nice whip. Could very well be that card there. George Stone, I think he's better elsewhere. Not very good. And then when you look at the rookie class of 72 for them, and by rookie class, guys who may be rookies, but also guys who have not been in the league yet because they weren't taken in the previous years. We have a lefty starter 7, Rob Gardner. And he's pretty good, isn't he? Interesting, fun little player here. That's a good card. Closer look, 97 innings, a 3.06 ERA, and a lefty starter 7. This is a guy who should get in the league. He should get in the league. It's a no-brainer. He should get into the league. Now, if they have their number of lefties, they might want to trade this guy, as he doesn't have a long shelf life with other cards. Schuler has a longer shelf life. He'll play through the end of the decade. Okay here as a starter 6. More innings, ERA. And that's the rookie class of the Braves. So I'm thinking Niekro. And maybe they do take Gardner. That's a nice card. Good news to have the farm system bring up a lefty in his first crack. That's good. As a matter of fact, he might be a one-year wonder. I don't recall Rob Gardner having a long career. All right, the Florida Marlins. They're always going to be troubled during this time because they don't have a farm system. Casey Cox. I mean, they liked him from the they got him from the Senators, I believe. Now he's a Yankee. And he's okay here. Nothing special about that card. Probably won't make it. We know we want to get a 300 hitting Mota, as he always hits 300. And this solid 323. This is probably the one you want. Nice card. Jose Pagan. Okay, nothing special here. Limited sample size for Pagan. 252 hitter. Nothing really special other than Mota, of course. And when we see the rookies they get, which is obviously they're getting castaways from other organizations. A very young John Milner who would play for the Mets and Pirates in this decade. He does the predictable hits righties, not lefties. Hell, eventually he hits lefties pretty well, but as a younger player, probably not. But this card is worth getting into the league if needed. 238, 17 bombs. And the other thing that's kind of cool about this card is that because he's a Met, it means you're taking him away from the Mets if you promote him into the league. The Mets have Crane, Poole, and Clendon on it first. So they don't really need him yet. Hector Torres, not much going on there. It could be Mota and Milner from this stack. All right, next up, your defending world champion New York Mets. And it was the 1972 year. They took John Matlack with the first-round pick, and it paid off brilliantly. He was the best pitcher, at least in this small sample league we play. He outperformed Koosman and Seaver, and he helped the team win the World Series. So in 72, Jerry Grody. Ultimately, we have to find out what his arm is, and that's calculated in a spreadsheet. But we pretty much want to take the Jerry Grody, who's best at throwing out stealers, because that's going to help the Mets pitching more than his bat will. Cleon Jones, we decided that 71 is the year. Kuzman, starter 6 here, but that's not very good for Kuzman. You want better than that. And Seaver, a 2.92 ERA. I think he's better in 71 and 73, where he leads the league in WHIP. But you still take any Seaver card, really. It doesn't matter that much. He's always great. Their rookie guys. How about Buzz Capra? Not this particular year. He has a better year somewhere in the timeline, maybe 73. The homer and walk combination is never a good sign. Ted Martinez would be a utility player throughout the decade if they need that sort of thing. And that's it in the rookie class. So, not a lot of help here that I see. Could be Seaver and Grody from this class. But they might have to go outside the organization to find a player. Final team in the National League East is your Philadelphia Phillies. We are getting close to the Mike Schmidt era, but not quite. At 73, he emerges, but not very good. John Callison, he's not a 2 anymore. He's still got the great arm, and he can hit righties pretty well. So it's a question of this guy, of this year for him, or one of the previous years where his defense is better. Fred Gladding, 2.76 ERA, dominant versus right-handed pitching. Grant Jackson, he's going to be a reliever for the Orioles in this timeline, at this point, and he improves from when he was a starting pitcher. Plus, he's a lefty who gets righties out, also very valuable. Gladding and Grant Jackson would make 2 fine additions to your bullpen. Jerry Johnson, this card's not much. He's good against righties, but that's unacceptable for our league. You don't want a righty who's that bad against lefties. And so who do the Phillies have coming up in their rookie class? Chris Arnold, not so much there. Tom Hutton, good slick fielding first baseman, probably just a pinch hitter here. Nothing really exciting going on. They still have Darren Johnson at first base anyway. Here's Max Scarse. He's a good lefty reliever, but he's better in 73 and 74, so not that. Now this Wayne Twitchell, there's one Wayne Twitchell card, I think the 73 card, that's really good, yeah. So wait till 1973, that Wayne Twitchell performance will be much better. And so there you are. So nothing really sticks out in the rookie class as expected on a Philly team that's still trying to figure themselves out. We're still early in the 70s. We have Lozinski, but we still have a lot more pieces to get before we can win the East. You need to get Schmidt, and then Gary Maddox, and guys like that. Dick Ruthven, Jim Longboard, etc., etc. All right, let's take a look now at the National League North, where the Reds have been the best team in baseball in the regular season, but have disappointed in the postseason. The Cubs. All right, Randy Hundley, we want to make sure he's got the great arm that he's had recently, which is -3 because the bat's not good there. Fergie Jenkins, he's got some Cy Young years in this timeline. It could be this one. I'd look at the whip and so forth, and he's a starting 9. You want that. Don't like those homers there, though. Those are Wrigley Field homers. Good against lefties. Ron Santo, this is an excellent card. Still a 2 at third base, kills lefties. On base against righties with average. 302, 17 bombs. I like this one the best so far. I mean, Fergie's great, but you got to remember, Fergie probably has 4 good cards in this timeline. But I don't think Santo can say the same thing. So you take the player who you know only has a specific year matched up. Del Unser, good defensive outfielder in a platoon, if needed. Well, could be Santo and Jenkins, but if you don't take both, that leaves you open to a rookie. Carmen Fanzone, a lot of power. Utility guy. Always room for a utility guy with on base and power. That's a fun card. I like this card. It's a fun card because of all the... I mean, as a utility player, he'd be fine. Gene Heiser, and nothing going on there. Look, it's Mike Kelleher. I believe his name is Mick Kelleher. A 3, it's short, which is nice, but the bat's bad. A young Rick Russell. Now, the Cubs have, unfortunately, a logjam at right-handed pitcher in their organization because they got Fergie Jenkins, Bert Hooton, and Milt Pappas. So they don't really have room for Russell yet. Maybe they bring him in when they eventually trade Bert Hooton to the Dodgers. You see, though, 10-8, 293. Great performance. Gosh, they just need to make room for him. Milt Pappas will eventually be done in like one more year. So maybe he takes Milt Pappas's or Bert Hooton's spot. He needs to wait his turn. You could put him in the bullpen, though. That might be a clever thing for them to do. Put Russell in the bullpen, waiting his turn. All right, and then we have, actually, he's the only rookie here, and it is Russell. There's nobody else. So, let's move on to the Big Red Machine. They got to really put this thing together. I mean, they're not in a particular hurry. They don't even have Joe Morgan yet, and they won't have Joe Morgan until the Astros relinquish him in 72. But again, we're playing 70, 71, 72, 73. All right, they went and acquired the rights to Dick Bosman in the offseason. Not for this card, 364, because there's a card which is with a lower ERA, pitches on 3 days rest they want to acquire. They have Wayne Granger, doing Wayne Granger kind of things. He's pretty consistent throughout his career, so you don't have to necessarily pick a specific year. Actually, he's on the Twins by 72. A little monster Lee May card. Now, you might find this to be a Houston performance. Yeah, because it's 72 and the trade's already happened. So we might just want to ignore this and just keep one of the earlier Lee May's cards. And eventually, when 70 and 71 are eventually done, we'll execute that trade. Pete Rose, great card. However, we know he's the MVP of 1973. So we'll get that one. Still a great card, though. It's always a great card if it's Pete Rose. All right. Let's take a peek now at the rookies of the Reds. Maybe there's a Geronimo or a Foster or someone like that in here. You got Pedro Bourbon. He'll help your bullpen if you need it. I don't think they need any more help in the bullpen, but he's good. Oh, Bill Plummer. Don't think I need to, too excited to get Johnny Bench's backup, which is basically, when you have Johnny Bench at catcher, you pretty much just need to find a guy who has the ability to catch. And sometimes you see a second baseman or an outfielder or a corner or infielder have that ability on their card. That's fine. You don't actually need a devoted catcher to be the backup catcher when you know he's not going to play unless Bench gets hurt. Ed Sprague, another reliever, but not as good as Bourbon. He's okay. Nothing great. That's the end of the rookie class. Not very exciting for the Reds, any of these cards in this year. I'm not impressed with what their options are in 72. Because the guy you're not seeing is Joe Morgan, and they can't get him. He's property of the Astros. The Astros aren't just going to give him to the Reds, particularly when, he still plays for the Houston in the years of 70 and 71. Got to be patient, Cincinnati. The Pirates, a team that was really the most disappointing team in Strat last year, didn't make the playoffs, had a World Series kind of roster, but now they'll have an easier schedule and nice high draft choices and things like that. So don't be surprised if the Reds really find that Pittsburgh is coming back hard this year. Hebner. As a left-handed third baseman who can play defense, the fact that he crushes left-handed pitching is a bonus because obviously he's in there against righties and he's good. That's a 300 card, I believe, right? Exactly 300 with 19 homers. and it's an everyday player there. So that's totally fine. That's a first-round pick. Bob Moose, starter 7, on the rotation with 291. So that's bing bing. The first 2 guys are outstanding. You got Al Oliver in center field, where he's a 3. Remember, he's got to play in center now. They traded Matty Alou. And when you look at the stick, oh yeah. Isn't this interesting that this is the year after they won the World Series in '71? You might not know it, but the Pirates had the best record in baseball in 1972, but didn't go to the World Series. 312 Al Oliver. That's the card because of that center field ability. So it's going to be, and you also have Jim Rooker, but I know he's better in '73. Hopefully, as good as that Hebner card is, you might have to wait. My goodness, because I think Moose and Rooker are no-brainers. Clearly, that's their best cards. And in the rookie class, oh, actually, they don't have any rookies. That's Gene Alley. Yeah, that's it. They don't have any rookies. Those were players. Yeah. So they have no rookies, so that's a good sign. So they're just going to go with Oliver and either Moose or Hebner, but definitely Oliver. And last team we'll do tonight, and then we'll pick up the end of the National League next time, are the Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals. Tough time for them. Really tough because of the relocation, the restructuring of the divisions. Having the Reds and Pirates in the same division is making things miserable for the Cardinals. Now, Lou Brock will probably be their first round pick. It's a question of deciding on which of the 4 years you want to go with. This would be a great year. One of the 4 years, though, he has like 70-some walks, and his on base is well over 360. That's the card I'd probably go for, which is not this one. Plus, he's a 4, and he would be a 3 in one of those other years. Okay, Rick Wise's 71 card is really good. Here's the 72 card, and it's not quite as good. So if you had your choice, you'd go 71 Wise instead of 72 Wise. Not much help otherwise as far as keepers. Let's see what the rookies look like. Dwayne Anderson, a nice utility infielder, can play all the positions. A righty hits righties well. You do have Julian Javier. It's tough having 2 right-handed hitting second basemen. I do know Javier crushes lefties and is only average against righties. That could be an interesting platoon. Plus, as a the 4th infielder. If you need a 4th infielder, this guy's perfectly fine. Ray Bear, probably one of the most interesting cards when you consider what his ERA is. A 0.53 ERA, lowest ERA in this timeline, probably in all 16 years of the carryover league, which starts from 69 and goes through 84. I don't recall an ERA lower than that. Now, this would have been a magical looking Strat card had he not given up 6 walks. Because at 0.53 ERA, you're thinking dominant. And look, he's a great pitcher. 0.53 ERA. But really, he puts guys on base. He's not a stopper. He's not a stopper. He's not Bruce Sutter or somebody like that. Or, there were plenty of dominant closers that have outs from 6 through 9 on either side. I think Jim Brewer has all outs on 4, 5, and 6 on his card when we eventually get to it. But yeah, he's definitely can get into the league. It's just that he's not quite 0.53 dominant material there. That's all. No big deal. George Roque. No, sorry, George. Scipio Spinks. Nice starting pitcher. Fine. Again, a lot of walks, but look at the hits. Not many. And not many homers. Even better. A lot of strikeouts. This is a nice card. 267 ERA and 118 innings. Nice rookie card for this guy. So, it could be the Cardinals decide to go with their rookies because they prefer Brock and Wise in a different year. And they would have their choice between Dwayne Anderson, Ray Bear, and Scipio Spinks. 3 guys vying for 2 spots. So that's pretty good for the Cardinals. They got to figure out a way of stealing a playoff spot by passing either Cincinnati or Pittsburgh, who would have to slump a lot. But Pittsburgh slumped last year, so it could happen again. All right, that'll do it for the National League North and the National League East. We're 3/4 of the way through this box. We'll pick it up next time with the 4 expansion teams in the Mountain Conference and, of course, the National League West. Thanks for checking out the video. We'll see you next time.